My name is James Harris, and I pastor at Trenches Community Church. This past year has exposed the heart of our nation in many ways, particularly how African American males are viewed and valued. We are still dealing with the same treatment of oppression and racism that are perpetual through systems, structures, frameworks, and philosophies, and are noticeable in areas such as policing, healthcare, hiring, housing, the hierarchy of our country, and judicially. The images of Ahmaud Arbery being murdered and George Floyd being suffocated to death by a knee on his neck speaks volumes about continued dehumanization of people of color. This series during Black History Month is not to condemn anyone, but to continue to bring about awareness, encourage compassion, and to break down the middle walls of separation, particularly between white and Black America. The overt and the covert hostility can be dismantled through believers taking the lead in change by submitting to the will of God and doing life through the cross. America, you don't have to be afraid of us or be intimidated by us. We love where we live and want to see our country become one nation under God. Welcome to See Me. That intro, I want to give some shout outs to Kaylin Humes, KK, for hooking that up, man. I love it. It's encouraging me, even though I was a part of creating and developing it. I love that intro. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of See Me. Just a reminder that See Me was birthed out of a teaching that I did last February. And I believe that the Spirit of the Lord placed on my heart for America to see African Americans, and particularly African American males, see us beyond a month. We are more than a month. You know, our history runs deep, you know, here in America, and we have some individuals who are presently making a great impact on America. You know, so I'm more than my melanin. I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a grandfather. You know, I love the Lord. I'm intelligent. I have wisdom. I bring something to the table in my community, you know, and it's thousands upon thousands, if not millions, of African American males that bring those same type of attributes and skills to the table. So again, thank you for joining us. We're here again tonight to tear down the false narratives or the misunderstanding about African American males. And what better way to bring our city, bring our nation, bring our region into proximity, you know, into the lives, bring you near to the African American experience. I really believe that once we enter into proximity and not have these peripheral type relationships, but these proximity type relationships, the biases, the prejudices are torn down. And then once you get to know me as an African American male, once you get to know me as a human being, then maybe you'll represent me to your particular platform, a group of individuals, and help us to change the narrative. People here today, man, bring these folks up, bring them up, bring them up. Look, ooh, I am so excited, man. My young brothers in Christ, man, you guys are looking amazing. Now, I want our viewing audience to see something here before we get started. I want them to see something here. All right. This is what I want them to see. The five of you, all right, online tonight, these are not images of mugshots. These are shots of the image of God. And I'm going to say that again because Man, a lot of times we see ourselves on TV, right, with a mug shot with a orange jumpsuit on.
Yeah.
But not tonight. Not tonight. All right. You guys are shots of the image of God. And I just want our viewing audience right now, if they can, man, just celebrate you guys, give you guys a round of applause, put something in the chat, and all of that, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to tear down those false narratives. And I just want to celebrate you guys tonight. Man, okay. This is what we're gonna do. We got some heavy hitters. We got Trey Humes in the house. We got Philip Johnson in the house. We got DeAndre Robinson in the house. We have Blaze Ndukwe. Did I get that right, Blaze?
Ndukwe.
All right. Ndukwe? Ndukwe. 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 Got you. Got you. And then we got Mo Brooks and Josh Smith in the house. Man, Trey, holla at me. Holla at me, man. How old are you and what are you currently doing? Holla at me.
I'm 23 years old. I just last spring I graduated from college from the business school. I just moved back home or whatever during this pandemic, and back home with my mom and stuff right now. But I'm working. I just started working for my dad. He's got a restaurant down in Three Rivers, so I'm working for him full time. And I was working at Lululemon part time too, and just starting to figure everything out like during this time. And I still hoops a little bit too.
You mean you still run up and down the court?
Yeah.
Because you never could hoop.
all right.
You can run up and down the court, a K College grad, bro. That's what's up. That's what's up. What's up, Phil? Tell me a little bit about yourself, man. How old are you? What you currently doing, bro?
My name's Phil. I'm 32. Currently, I'm just working at Youth for Christ as an urban missionary. We're actually having our first service tomorrow, so if y'all can be in prayer for us, we're having our first service, inviting young people into the new rec center that got built on the east side. Tomorrow's the first day for middle schoolers. So be in prayer for us. We teaching the gospel, which is going to be the first lesson we do. Also, I work at Trenches Community Church as a youth director under Pastor James Harris.
That's what's up, Phil. Thanks for joining us tonight. Then we got DeAndre Robinson. Come on, baby. Tell me, how old are you? And tell me a little bit about yourself.
I recently turned 26 in January, and I am a full-time cashier at a Citgo. And I also work at Bronson Methodist Hospital in the food service department. And student, son, uncle, employee, and all around just want to go further for education and become married one day and just become the best young man I can be.
Wow. So you're attending Western Michigan University, and what type of degree are you pursuing?
I'm actually back at my old community college, Southwestern Michigan College, right now, retaking some stuff, and then go back to Western, and then just pursue graduate school right now, and that's what I'm doing right now, looking at a couple options. So.
All right, thank you, Dre. Thank you, Blaze. Man, how old are you, and what are you currently doing?
I am 28. I am a pharmacist. Before, I was a staff pharmacist at Gold Point Pharmacy in Kalamazoo, and now in June, I started a new position as a pharmacy manager. So I am helping to establish essentially a new pharmacy in Marshall, Michigan. And so establishing that and getting programs started that help the community, establishing like a delivery program in the pharmacy, a vaccination program. Currently, I am working on a project to get our pharmacy the COVID-19 vaccines. Biden is delivering them directly to pharmacies. So that's my project right now, getting the pharmacy COVID-19 vaccines so we can hopefully start bringing customers in to give them vaccines or go out into the community and do home visits for customers.
Man, thank you. Thank you so much for being a part of that, for bringing health to our community. And I'm thinking also, I want to salute Phil because he spent some time in our armed service, protecting our country. So, bro, I want to salute you for doing that. You did that 4 years strong. I'm glad God brought you back this way. And now we have Mo Brooks. Mo Brooks This guy is one of my role models, man. Even though he's younger than me, this is one of my role models. Tell me a little bit about you, Mo. How old are you?
Thanks for having me, Pastor Harris. I am 31 years old. I am the family director at Mount Zion Baptist Church, and my responsibility is to serve families within the church and the community, and just making helping families become stronger together, closer to God and closer to each other.
Mm-hmm. That's what's up. A Kalamazoo Central graduate, right? And back in the day, Western
Yes,
Michigan
sir.
graduate. You
Yes,
know,
sir.
so proud of you, so proud of you, love you, bro. And plus, you married and you have a baby, also, right?
Yes, I'm married to my beautiful wife, Dayan. Have a 1-year-old named Maria, and she's just tearing up the place, and we love it.
That's what they do. That's what they do. Tear up the place, right? And speaking of kids tearing up the place, we got Josh Smith, and he's working here at Trenches, and I'll let him explain that. Josh, how old are you? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Joshua Smith. I am 21. And currently I am a youth worker at Trenches Community Church. We are a learning hub for Kalamazoo Public School students, K through 5. Mainly we help them with their work, but it's more than that. At first I thought it was just gonna be like helping them with their work, but these kids, they are more than just helping them through work. Not only am I a youth worker, I am also an artist, and I would say a visionary. I have so many plans for the community, and now I just have to see them through.
That's what's up, man. That is beautiful, man. And I'm seeing you guys are making an impact, you know, at a very young age. And again, you bring it to the table, you know. And I wanted our community, I wanted our nation, I wanted our region to see that, man, we have African American males that's making it happen. That's making it happen. You know, we're not all on the streets. We're not all getting locked up. You know, we're not ignorant. We're intelligent. You know, we're created in the image of God, and you guys are wonderful people. So thank you again so much for joining us. All right, now we're in Black History Month. All right, we're in Black History Month, and what I want to just ask you guys is, what comes to mind when you think about Black History Month? What comes to your mind when you think about Black History Month? Let's see here. Hey, Mo, just start us off. Let's just start us off. What
Yes,
comes
sir.
to mind? Yeah.
So what comes to my mind is the fight for freedom, and how African Americans literally had to fight and stand up for freedom. You know, the giants, the no-name individuals who lost their life unjustly, the no-name individuals who stood up, who don't get the spotlight, but they were marching and they were sitting in and they were protesting and they were, you know, getting beat and put in jail, and we never will know their names, right? Of individuals who really paid with their blood that we may experience freedoms today. So that's what kind of comes to my mind initially when I hear Black history.
Hey, well, okay then. That's good. Hey, Drake, talk to me. You know, Black History Month. What does that mean to you? What do you think about?
Sitting in classes and always feeling as though it was a spotlight on me. Basically, a lot of times, maybe some people didn't feel like I deserved a month, or my color of people didn't deserve a month, or sometimes feeling like they were just watching you, critiquing every move. But another thing I felt as though is just a huge piece was that you'll never be able to see again the no-name individuals. You'll never be able to find everyone who contributed something. And so just always wanting to just stay doing the correct things, staying in school, and try to just make a change for the better.
Yeah, it's making me think of, it's unfortunate, you know, that we have to have a month.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that we have to have a month. And to me, you know, Black History Month is basically, you know, African Americans saying, see us. The same way that we have Hispanic Month. They saying, see us. Women's Month, they're talking about seeing us. You know, so God created us to see one another, to celebrate one another. You know, so that's what comes to mind to me, is that we have to fight to be seen, but God created us to celebrate all ethnicities and to celebrate one another on a consistent and daily basis. All right, let me hear from Josh. What you think, Josh? What you think about when you hear about Black History Month? What comes to your mind?
Well, the first thing I want to say is Black History is more than just a month. But the first thing that comes to mind is celebrating our victories as a people. I mean, like, even in our history, we have like our downfalls, or we have the moments where it's not a lot of light shined on it. But because through diamonds are found in dirt. So you talk about slavery and you talk about things like of that nature, but it's also light in that. So really, Black history for me is celebrating accolades, no matter if they came from a bad area or not.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. I love that word accolades, man, because to me, guys, you guys are Black history. Okay, you're history in the making. You're making it happen. So I don't necessarily see Black history as something that happened in the past. I see Black history as something that's happening right now in the
Yeah.
future. So you guys again are making it happen. Now this question, we didn't have this question on the table, but I'm just interested in your response. Your generation seems to be more accepting of people of different ethnicities. Is this true? If so, why? If not, why? What you think about that, Phil?
I would agree. I think so, and the reason being is just because nobody wants to feel left out. I think a lot of people in this day and age, have chose to deal with their mental health, and I think what happens is when you allow yourself to feel that type of pain, you don't want nobody else to go through it either.
Yeah.
And I would hate for somebody to feel like they're being left out or they're on the outskirts. I want them to feel a part, just like I want to feel a part. So I think with our generation now, it's like nobody should be excluded. We should all be appreciated. Kind of similar to what Josh said. We're more than just a month. If we're gonna move forward as a country, I think we understand we have to all appreciate each other's heritages.
Hmm.
I think that's kind of what our generation is aiming to do.
Okay, thank you so much. Does anyone tend not to agree that your generation seems to accept the differences as it relates to our ethnic identities? Do any of you guys tend to disagree with that? All right, so it looks like that we're on the same page with that. Man, protesting. This was not on the script, but protesting. I just thought about this one here, and I want Trey. I want Trey to dive in on this, man. Trey, is protesting effective? Why or why not?
Yeah, I think protesting is effective, but I think that the group that is okay. So if you're protesting, you're obviously fighting for something and fighting to see a change, and the group that is in power to like help like facilitate the change has to be their hearts have to be open to what the people are protesting about. And like for an example of like everything that was going on this summer, like I just felt so frustrated a lot of the times because during the protests, there so many of them, like the majority of them were peaceful, but
Yeah.
people just want to look at the ones that where something might have gone wrong or something like that, and so then they miss the complete point that people are fighting for equal rights and to be seen. And it's just like they're just looking for an excuse to continue to be blind to like what's happening to people of color in this country. It's like just always trying to find a way where like you could justify the mistreatments and things like that, like in all the videos, the surveillance of everything that's gone on. Like when I'm looking at comments, the first thing is always, oh, what was his record, or like what did he do like to put himself in that situation. Like it's just things like that, you know what I mean? So yeah.
Anybody want to chime in on that?
I will say yes. Go ahead, Josh.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, yeah, I totally agree with 100% of what he said. I also realized, yeah, protest. I'm not on the fence about it, but I know that protesting, sometimes some people just are out there to be out there, but some people are actually 100% serious. So I just want to reflect on the seriousness of protesting, considering that some people, lost their lives or fought for this very hard. So I just wanted to highlight that. So I'm in a 100% agreement with what Trey said.
Yeah, I participated in a protest, a couple of protests this past summer, and I had never participated in a protest before, and peace done, in a righteous manner, is very, very, very powerful because the voice of the people are heard. And I think that for us as African Americans and African American males, our voices have been suppressed for a long time. But I just really believe that God is giving us, a platform to voice, basically voice his voice, because Jesus said that I was anointed, all right, to heal the brokenhearted, to set the captives free, to deliver the oppressed. He was anointed for that. So as I experienced those protests, I just really heard the voice of God in the midst of individuals protesting. Now, going on to our next question, man, have you ever caught yourself toning down your ethnic identity or assimilating while at the same time losing your identity to keep others around you who are not of the same ethnic group comfortable, right? So have you ever found yourself toning it down, all right, to make people feel comfortable, and then you assimilate, all right, in order, all right, to be a part of mainstream culture, so you won't be yourself. So you tone yourself down from being who you are. Have you ever, experienced that before? And if so, why do you feel like that you needed to do that?
I guess I answer that. I never felt like I had to tone myself down. So I would say no. Considering the fact that I'm always gonna be me. My personality really, I wouldn't say is defined by my skin tone. I'm always gonna be that goofy, energetic kid. So in my eyes, no, I've never.
That's powerful, bro. Who else want to lean into that?
I'll get in on that. I felt as though a lot of times I had to tone down what I was doing, being in school and going to different things for school, whether it was, and I'll stop doing, certain things like, you didn't want to get the ear piercings and stuff as a Christian, but I did, unfortunately. But like, I want to wear some jewelry or something like that, or certain type of clothes. Even sometimes, I'd be afraid to throw on some Jordans or something, even sometimes with some of the stuff I do on a daily basis, because you'll feel as though maybe you didn't fit in. But as I've gotten older, as I said, I just turned 26, you start to be more comfortable and know that as long as you put in the work on the background, and I showed up to class prepared to answer some questions, I can wear anything, I can have on a chain if I want to, ring if I want to, and earrings if I want to. I felt like you can't be a doctor with no earrings in there, but I find it's not true, so.
I'm feeling you. I hear you. Let somebody else. Blaze, what you think about that?
I would say, at least for me, my first thing is that I'm a type of person that I don't assimilate. I don't conform. I don't like to. And so I definitely don't really conform when it comes to like keeping up with like societal norms in order to fit in with a group of people. I don't really do that type of stuff, but I do feel that, especially when it came to working and especially like in this corporate world, like you have to like really kind of assimilate to white culture in order to not be seen as like this, especially in situations where, like, I had a situation one time when my supervisor basically yelled at me, and I wanted to go off, but you don't want to be the angry black man. And so in that kind of situation, like I felt like I had to kind of tone myself down in order to not create this kind of situation where I do end up being labeled as the angry black man whenever I approach her or anybody else at work. And yeah, it's just those kind of situations where you just kind of have to tone down the way you talk, and you just have to kind of, when it comes to corporate culture, you just have to like talk a certain way in order to be seen as intellectual and not be seen as someone who doesn't know what he's talking about. You have patients who might not necessarily listen to what you're saying if you don't talk a certain way, things like that.
Yeah. I get that, and I see Phil. He done raised his little chest up like he had something to say. He was about to spit something out. What's up, Phil? Talk to me.
I mean, yeah. I mean, low key is especially with the Army. I mean, yeah, I've done it. Like it's been times where they were having conversations that were that made me uncomfortable. You know, we would be talking about what happened with Ahmad or what happened with George, the protests, you know, and I would get extremely uncomfortable in certain instances, and I always, you know, wouldn't speak up. I wouldn't always speak up. You know, sometimes I would keep quiet, and then I would go home and beat myself up for not, you know, saying something. And I would go back to work, and when you don't say anything, sometimes people get comfortable still talking about it around you. But when you kind of open your mouth and you say something, they kind of, okay, you know. So I think once I realized that other people weren't ashamed to be themselves around me, I'm like, I'm not gonna be ashamed to be myself around y'all, you know, because if you're comfortable speaking your opinion on certain issues and certain things, then I'm gonna be comfortable too, you know. And it's still sometimes a fight because I do have a certain level of wanting to please people on inside of me. I struggle with that. So sometimes I don't speak up when I should. So it's still a struggle, but you know, trying to be a part of the good old boy system just so you can fit in with a certain type of culture at work. You know, it's dying in me daily. You know, it's dying in me daily, and it helps, you know, to be a part of a community of brothers and individuals at work who do love being black. You know, it makes it a whole lot easier to kind of just be yourself. And then to work with other people who aren't black, who say, listen, you're free to be who you are, like be who you are. That makes it amazing too. But you know, and in the same breath, you know, I don't work for corporate America anymore. So, you know, that's different as well. So for my story might be a little different than Blaze's, you know, but yeah, that's me.
Yeah, it's so liberating to be yourself, and I believe that it's oppressive to not be yourself. All right. So assimilating, you know, has a measure of oppression. And what do I mean by that is that you feel this strain or this burden on your soul and your spirit when you can't be who God created you to be. You know, it's a bondage, you know. So, you know, I just totally agree is that, you know, I've been in situations where I had to assimilate, and then I'm in other situations where people's like, just be you, James, just be you. So we've experienced both ends, I believe, as, you know, African American males. Now I want to talk a little bit about policing. I want to talk a little bit about policing. Now I have friends who are police. I have white friends who are police, and they have a love for their community. They have a heart for their community. I'm not bashing all police officers. I'm just bringing to attention a reality that's happening within our nation. I was just reading research was found, you know, with a million, 100 million traffic stops across the United States, Black drivers were 20% more likely to be stopped than white drivers relative to their share of the residential population. The study found this, all right, that once stopped, Black drivers were searched about 1.5 to 2 times as often as white drivers. while they were less likely to be carrying guns or drugs or other illegal contraband compared to their white peers. Why is this? Why do you think this is? And why is this happening? Can you guys help our viewing audience?
Yeah, there's a couple of reasons why it's happening, and I will say it's the training and the system as a whole. I believe that there's a lot of white officers, non-black officers, who really have good intentions, but they're following that rule book, and that rule book has systematic racism within it. So as they follow out their training, it's right, and they're like, if you guys get opportunity, watch the movie on Amazon Prime, American Skin. Right, it's a beautiful movie. It's a great dialogue. It's a great conversation about police brutality. And the guy just thought he was following his training. And I think that is one huge part of it. Another huge part of it is fear, due to media, due to movies, how black men and black people have been portrayed, right, as gangsters, as rapists, as murderers, as thieves, right? These are some of the stereotypes of black people. So we have police officers who never experience a friendship or relationship with a black person. They come from, the outskirts, from farms. They sign up to be a police officer, and they're like, wow, I just pulled over a black man and I watched the movie and this didn't go good in the movie. So I got to have my hand on my gun immediately, without any context or anything. So I think that's part of the issue.
All right. Does anyone else want to chime in on this? Because if you guys don't, I got a person that I'm looking at. All right.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what Mo said in terms of just like a part of it is just like this lack of understanding of black people, black culture, and it's just funny because I feel like I was talking to some friends. This was way back when like all this stuff started, and I was just thinking like, a lot of these officers do come from suburbs. They've never had interactions with black people. And so how can you have an officer who isn't black policing in black communities when you've never even had any sort of interactions with these group of people? And so I feel like officers, when it comes to not just their training, but like as an officer, if you're going to be policing in a community, you should volunteer in that community. And I think that shouldn't be optional. I think it should be mandatory, because if you police in that community and you get an opportunity to learn who the people are and make friends with those people, when you stop them, it's not necessarily an interaction where you're automatically on high alert because you're fearful of that person, but like you have an understanding. Like say, for example, you stop someone, let's say little Timmy, and little Timmy stole a candy bar. You're more likely to let little Timmy off and with a warning than to beat little Timmy up because he stole a candy bar and take him to jail.
Yeah.
And so I think it's very important for especially white police officers who come from these suburbs to police the inner city and black communities to volunteer within those communities before they even have an opportunity to start patrolling those communities.
And we do have that within Kalamazoo where, police officers who are not culturally informed about the inner city, they're being trained to be able to minister and serve the community, that they've been appointed to. Man, we are running out of time here. So I still want to stay on this policing piece. Okay. If you had an opportunity, all right. Okay, I'll set the scenario up like this. You've been pulled over by a white police officer. Okay. What would you wish the white police officer or an officer who is not culturally informed would see other than your skin color if you're pulled over? What would you want them to see other than your skin color if you're pulled over?
I just want them to see, honestly, my intentions. I just want them to see my intentions. And for me, it's just that. I don't want you to see me like, was I purposely trying to break a law? Or did I just slip up and do something wrong, like run a red light or something like that? I want them to see my intentions. I want them to see, because I think once they see my intention, I think they'll see beyond just my skin color. Now when you see I wasn't intentionally trying to break a law, I was just going on about my day trying to get home to my family or trying to get to work, you'll just see me as a man and not necessarily a black man. You'll see me just like how you see yourself, somebody who put on their uniform, got their badge, and went to work. You won't see me as a criminal.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I like that. Trey, what would you want them to see if you got pulled over?
I just want it to be like equal treatment. Like, I mean, all cops aren't the same, and so there's like a lot that are their personalities are different than other ones. So like, and that's a whole another topic of conversation. But like, treat me just like you would treat anybody else that you pulled over at the time. Like, so it's like you don't need to be extra aggressive or just like expect me to be hostile or anything like that just because of the color of my skin or anything like that. Like, I just treat people the same way. Like, if you're going to be aggressive across the board, like, then I hope that you're that way all the time. And then you don't just justify it as, oh, I was just doing my job when it's a person of color. You know what I mean? Like, I just equal treatment across the board.
Man, I'm feeling that, bro. That's some excellent answers. I love the answers you guys are giving. Man, okay, here we go. We're talking about changing the narrative. All right. So I need you guys to answer this question. How can America help change the false and misunderstood narratives about African American males? How can America help change? Josh, start us off. How can America help change this narrative?
Just by realizing that we're all human. I realized that, like, even me growing up, I realized that I always thought it was certain things I could not do or I could do because of my skin tone, but I realized that we can do the same things that other people can do. So I think the first thing we have to do is just realize that we are what we say in the national anthem, we are one nation. So if I could play basketball, you could play basketball. If I could do this, you could do this. So skin tone is just a pigment. We all come from the same place if we're being like geographical. So I would say just realizing that I'm your brother, just because my skin tone is different, don't mean treat me different.
Yeah, love that, bro. Love that. Woo! All right. A few other people.
I think we got to enforce that, like, crime is crime, basically. Like, education is education. The workforce is the workforce, basically, because sometimes we will see a certain race as having the more corporate jobs or whatnot, and that sometimes we would want to think that only African Americans are really in the streets like that, but it's really not the truth, but it's sometimes, African Americans don't have to pursue higher education just to say we're the smartest race either. So I think that we would want to show more images of everybody working and everybody maybe being in the workforce or being in higher education just because that's what they chose to do, and just to show that it could be a little bit, the numbers could be closer to each other than maybe what we think they are.
Okay, man. It's been an honor. It's been a privilege, man. You guys are amazing. Okay. You're gonna complete this sentence. One word or two words. See me, I am Phil. Start us off. See me, I am.
See me, I'm your brother.
All right. Mo. See me, I am.
I have to say love.
Yeah. Dre, see me, I am.
Working.
Yeah. Josh, see me, I am.
Talented.
Blaze, see me, I am.
An artist.
Okay. And I would say for me, see me, I am human. So brothers, thank you so much for joining us. Love you guys. I believe that you guys have helped us to change the narrative. God bless you guys. Continue to do what you're doing. And thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.